of meetings with you.
All right. I call this meeting to order. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yep.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Please stand for the invocation led by Pastor Reagan Duval from Beachside Fellowship Church.
Let's pray together. Father, as always, we're grateful for your goodness to us and for your favor and your grace for Panama City Beach. Lord, I thank you for these, our elected officials, Lord. Grant them strength and wisdom, Lord, leadership and supernatural ability to accomplish your purpose and plan for the city. I pray also, Lord, for the city staff, everybody that's, Lord, working so diligently to make our city a wonderful place to live. Bless them, protect them, bless their families, especially at this time, Lord. Bless all of our first responders, those that are working diligently, Lord, during spring break. Father, expose in advance every evil plan. And Father, give our law enforcement officers wisdom and grace to see what's coming, to be prepared for it, and to cut it off in advance. And Father, we thank you that you are with us to guide us and direct us. Father, grant your leadership, your peace, your joy, your wisdom in this meeting. And we give you the praise for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we move on to the community announcements. Thank you, Pastor. On Friday, March 27th, there's the 21st annual Sergeant Kevin Kite Memorial Service at Frank Brown Park in R. Jackson. That's a tough one. On Saturday, March 28th, there's the dog Easter egg hunt. That's at the Dog Beach, right by Pier Park, by the city pier. On Saturday, April 4th, there's the Spring Egg Extravaganza at Frank Brown Park. Friday, April 3rd, and Saturday, April 4th, there's the Unwind event, which is at Aaron Besant. Our next meeting is Thursday, April 9th. It's a 5 p.m. It's an evening meeting right here at City Hall. And a reminder for everyone, the high impact period for this year goes into effect March 28th through April 11th. Okay. That's community announcements. Move on to the approval of the meeting minutes.
Motion approved. Second.
We got a motion and a second. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to the approval of the agenda and additions or deletions. Mr. Whitman, anything?
No, sir. Motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve and a second. Ms. Fazzoni?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to our presentation for the day, the IT and Facilities Department update by Director Webb Warren.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. I'm Webb Warren. I have the honor of serving as the city's IT director, and I want to thank everyone for the chance to share a quick update on what's happening across our IT and facilities divisions. Before we begin, I want to assure everyone this presentation contains zero cybersecurity tests or requests for budget increases. But I do want to give a quick thanks to our IT and facilities team. They're the quiet reason everything in this room works exactly the way it should. Today, I want to give you a clear, high-level picture of what we've delivered, what's underway, and most importantly, how these improvements support our employees and our residents. So our structure is simple and very collaborative. On the IT side, we have our help desk administrator and our technicians, our system and network teams, and our IT project manager. With these talented folks in their roles, we're able to use a tiered support system to resolve issues, and our talented network team to ensure our systems and infrastructure is running smoothly. And an IT project manager to work with our departments to get their technology projects across the finish line. On the facility side, This team is essential to our city because as we have a dedicated facility maintenance manager, he oversees 2 full-time technicians as well as a facilities custodian, which, if you recall, last meeting, that was approved by council. This was an opportunity where we were able to take an outsourced custodial role and bring it in-house so we can deliver better results at no additional cost, and we appreciate that opportunity. Together, these teams work as one unit to support every department across the city. To give a sense of scale, since 2025, the IT team has completed over 6,100 support tickets. We support over 550 users, nearly 500 computers, 330 phones, and the rest of the technology our departments need to do their job. In short, IT plays a role in nearly every aspect of city operations. They're into the office early and out late. Our team is highly skilled and deeply dedicated to our organization. As we move into the project slides, I want to emphasize that our teams approach every initiative as a partnership. Our city departments bring to us their needs, their ideas, and their organizational vision, and our IT and facilities teams partner with them to design, implement, and execute the technical components of each project. This collaborative model not only empowers departments to take on meaningful technology and facility improvements, but it also highlights the skill and dedication of our staff who help turn those departmental goals into real working solutions. So our city recently launched our new website. This initiative was led by our public information manager, Ms. Erin Thrower, and that was in close coordination with all our departments. This website is our digital front door, and it gets over 500,000 unique visitors each year. IT provided behind-the-scenes support, focused on the procurement of this product, and ensured every department now has a simplified process for updating their part of the website. This platform will allow us to launch a few additional tools, including an intranet and a few other things in the future. And I want to thank our departments and Aaron for their hard work on this, as it was a great project, and we're happy to be across the finish line and moving forward. Our city clerk's department recently led the charge in launching the new public records portal, and our team was proud to support that. This new cloud-based system unifies and streamlines the public records process citywide. This initiative represents a major step forward in transparency and response efficiency. One of our biggest projects is the new ERP system, which brings finance, HR, payroll, utility billing into one unified platform. And our IT projects manager and all these departments are working hard together to replace these separate systems with a connected solution that makes the everyday processes simpler for our employees and to give them better access to the information that they need. By unifying our core systems, the new ERP will help the public by speeding up our services, improving accuracy, and making it easier for our staff to respond quickly and reliably to our residents' needs. This is a major modernization effort that will benefit the city for years to come. For the police department, we rolled out the new body-worn cameras, which is also used by code enforcement. We rolled out priority wireless data and provide extensive support for technology that is essential to our spring break operations. All this was accomplished in close partnership with police leadership, and the results are already making a real difference with our current spring break operations. For fire, we'll be equipping fire vehicles with mobile technology for the new dispatch system, which will be going live this summer. We also outfitted 2 new fire stations with their technology infrastructure. And we also continue to support the fire inspection and short-term rental teams with their short-term rental software. This initiative helps that division improve the registration process and provide better service for our public. Cybersecurity. This includes citywide training, multi-factor authentication, improved password standards, upgraded network infrastructure, security audits and testing, and we're also expanding our point-to-point fiber connectivity to all our new facilities. All of these steps significantly reduce risk by maintaining smooth operations. We've made major progress in strengthening our cybersecurity posture. So facilities. They became an official division in 2024, and the improvements are already evident. We've shifted from a mostly outsourced reactive repair model to a proactive in-house maintenance approach supported by procuring organizational-wide service contracts. That provides greater volume, more efficiency with our vendors. This helps reduce costs and extend the life of our buildings and equipment. Our team's dedication ensures that every department walks into facilities that are safe, clean, and truly mission-ready. Some recent projects, we moved into the Gail Wright Water Billing, and, which is also the finance building. We assisted our departments in getting across the finish line with the Fire Station 31 and 32 for our first responders. And we also worked to get the police department's new accessory building open. All these new workspaces, as well as facilities designing some creative solutions for office space in our existing facilities, have provided desperately needed office space for all our employees. We also constructed a new outdoor storage for PD, which helps extend the life of essential first responder equipment. With the vision of PD and city leadership, IT and facilities completed upgrades to the Police Command Center, which will also serve as the city's Emergency Operations Center. This includes a new 20-foot video wall that was approved by council back in December, and is proving to be a huge upgrade for our spring break operations. This provides a mission-ready environment for major events, emergencies, and daily coordination. We have strengthened facility security with expanded access control. We have new perimeter fencing on Gulf Boulevard and automated gates at multiple locations. We are also standardizing our internal procedures to ensure a consistent level of security across all city facilities. Looking ahead, we've got several major initiatives on deck that will move the city forward in a big way. We're working with Chief Tao's team to procure a modern records management system and CAD system for police. We're upgrading the city's fuel system and equipment, which is actually part of today's agenda packet. That's a huge initiative for us to ensure that all our vehicles are ready to go for day-to-day operations and emergencies. We are also supporting the rollout of utilities' automated metering project. We're preparing for major improvements to systems that support public works, licensing, code, building, planning, and recreation. As we continue to modernize, we're beginning to explore the responsible and practical uses of AI that can genuinely benefit local government. All these efforts are aimed at one thing. This is to improve efficiency and strengthening our service delivery across the organization. This is certainly not an all-inclusive list. There's a lot of other projects that we do on a weekly basis, and as you can imagine, we stay busy with our day-to-day support activities. Mayor, council, and administration, I want to thank you for your continued support for our young IT and facilities divisions. We have a great team. They're committed to delivering reliable, secure, and efficient services that help our employees serve the public every day. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, yeah, thanks, Webb. Congratulations on the new website. Aaron, great job on that one, too. It looks a lot better than the previous website, especially the new alerting system. Works very well, and I'm sure it'll get better. I'm very excited to see that utility billing may be modernized. That'll be a big help. And particularly appreciate your support for public safety, both with the City Emergency Operations Center and ongoing with the body cams. Make sure our public safety team is supported, remains safe. And I will just give a shout out to your utilities team. They are small but mighty, and they're fast. They're doing great work here.
Thank you.
Just appreciate you being Webb, man. You're an awesome guy, and I hear you're a pretty good fisherman too. But great. I love your demeanor, man. We're so blessed to have you here on our team, and thanks for all you do, keeping us up and running up here as well. I don't think you mention that too often, but I'm all the time having IT issues or email issues, and you're always there to help and have such a great demeanor. And your staff represents you really well. So leadership starts at the top. So thanks for being a great leader.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We have a great team.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Webb.
Thank you.
Thanks, Webb.
Thank you, Webb.
All right, we now move on to public comment on the consent agenda and non-agenda business. Please come up, state your name, keep it relevant to city business, and you will have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. My name is Ray Valverde, proud resident of the city. And last time we met, I was bringing up the fact that I think the roundabout would be beautified with a fountain, and I just want to be here to keep that momentum going for that. My conversations with businesses that I visit through Bay Limousine and dropping off things for as an ambassador of the Chamber of Commerce, I have been asking, and very positive comments from everybody that I've asked, that it would be a nice addition to our city. and a landmark, depending on what we decide to do in regards to the look of it. And I believe it could be the beginnings of a future fountains. We're expanding the airport. That would be a beautiful thing to put another fountain there as people come off and see that initially. Then they see it again here, and then get the businesses to buy in to doing something like that, as well as residents. I come from Kansas City. There's 200 registered fountains. Only Rome has more than Kansas City, and that's not all business. It's private people that once the momentum starts, people say, well, let's put a fountain in the front of our yard if they have the, you know, the whereabouts for doing that. Maybe the city could present some money to help get that off, matching funds type of a deal. But there's just a lot that can happen in the start of making the role that we're on right now in the city and beautify the city and make it something that we're all proud of. And like I said, I just want to continue that, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. I've talked to a couple of the councilmen, Mr. Paul and Mr. Ethan, about it. And so let's keep the momentum going and make our city, right now we're on a roll with so many things going on that I think it's a good time to continue that positive feedback that the city is providing now. So thank you for the time.
Yep. Thank you, Ray. Further public comment on the consent or non-agenda business?
My name is Captain Gary Wayne Beck. I live at 2601 Beach Street. Well, the Republic have got to see how y'all shut the door and turn a blind eye on the Constitution and Bill of Rights like you're our rulers. You're not our rulers, you're our servants. And what have our servants done? They've created an entity that preys upon the weakest of our people. And what I mean by the weakest of our people? The elderly and the young. You know, and when we've got law enforcement that turns a blind eye to capital felonies, you know, such as forgery in the courts and forgery to false my name, forgery on the
sir, that's
on
not
the
relevant to city business.
taxes.
Sir, keep it relevant to city business.
I think corruption is relevant to the city. I'm just making the
Sir, your
connections.
issues with the courts
During
are
the
not
meantime, you're
relevant to
burning my
Panama City
time.
Beach.
Anyway, as I was saying, you know, they turn a blind eye to all the criminal acts that come directly against the people, and people wonder why I get so upset. It's because I have to endure the lies that y'all have put out about me. You know, I was having a normal life up until I tried to help with a BP oil spill, and then they found out I couldn't read and couldn't write. Everybody's heard the story, but during the meantime, look at what y'all have done. You've managed to desecrate everything that every man, woman, and child has fought and died for in our military and suffered in our military, whether it's the children because they don't have their parents or the men that gave their lives. You know, the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, the Seventh Amendment. You're a disgrace to it, Mayor, you know? And then we got everybody up there that plays the Illuminati look. I wish, you know, everybody gets to see how y'all pretend I just don't exist. I don't exist with an energy invention. I don't exist with a surf rescue. I don't exist with anything, do I? Y'all just turn a blind eye to it. And then the fact that I can prove that you're preying upon the weakest, you know, we're talking about Miss Cindy, ain't we there, Vice Mayor? You know, y'all took
Sir, address me or the council as a
$42,000.
whole.
I think that's relevant, $42,000 for an old lady that can't even barely move. You know, she deserves to have her, you know, rest in peace, you know, and it's her golden years, you know, and everybody wonders, you know, 3 minutes to 2 weeks is what I used to say. Now y'all just ban me for months at a time so you can continue. That's how you take people's rights, you know, and then we got to deal with what? The sickness. The sickest of the sick. You know, we still got that sexual predator that did horrible things and put horrible images in front of me. And you said I was ridiculous.
Keep this relevant to city business. Keep this relevant to city
we got a sexual
business.
predator that's preying on the people, you know, and we're talking about sexual perversion, you know. We got men that dress like women, you know, and then y'all saying I'm crazy? Am I lying? Cole Davis does.
Sir.
Does he not dress like a woman? I know his
Sir,
boyfriend
do
does.
not
I've seen
insult
him.
our staff.
I'm not. Is that
Sir,
an
do
insult?
not insult our staff.
I'm not insulting nobody. I'm just telling you a fact, you know? And then I'm talking about sexual perversion because what they did, you know, he called me just the other day. He put back up the Facebook site and put a picture of my dog, you know, that they killed, that the city killed.
All right, thank you,
know?
sir. Please sit down. Further public comment on consent or non-agenda business?
Well, y'all know I like to, well, by the way, I'm Curtis Gilbert, Calypso Condos. Mayor, council, I don't usually get up here and say too much. I've only got up one time in the past. I get a little aggravated when I hear stuff like this happened. Everybody's got the right to speak. But from the majority of people in Panama City Beach, I'd like to say thank you to the mayor, to all these council members, administration, police department, fire department. I think you all do a fine job. I work with all of you, from the mayor, the chief, administration, even your public works department, code enforcement. They come by the condo all the time. Some of them come in. I have a chance to speak with them. And I guess the reason it came to head just then is when I listen to criticism, it's fine. But I want to commend and think again about Officer Kite. And I'm sorry every time I think about him, because I was there when everything went down. I just want to thank the city council and tell all these police officers, firefighters, first responders, if they ever need anything, I'm always available. You got my phone numbers. We had a luncheon a couple weeks ago and had a lot of fine people come out, had some good fellowship. And I just want to commend y'all all for doing the best job that I've seen. I still own a house in Panama City Beach. I moved into town when I had elderly parents. And after working with this city council and the chief and everybody over the last couple years, me and my wife had decided we're going to sell the house in town and move back to the beach because we love this beach. We love the way the government's run on this side of the bridge. So thank you, and I'll hush.
And thank you, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you.
Further public comment on consent or non-agenda business?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Killick. I have lived here for 47 years and contributed significantly to this community when I introduced youth soccer to Bay County in 1981. In 1985, I petitioned the school board to adopt the game into Bay County school system. And in recognition of my efforts, Mayor Jerry Clements appointed me as soccer director for Panama City in 1985. After graduating from FSU, I spent the next 20 years coaching, teaching at every high school in Bay County and some in Fort Walton. When one of my students, Martin Anderson, died in unfortunate circumstances in 2006, I retired from teaching and concentrated on my car dealership, which I had begun in 1992. As a sports car venue for local enthusiasts. In 2008, the business was formally grandfathered in by Bay County, and I continued to earn a living there and employed local citizens. My lot is in Clarence Street within the planned gentrification and road widening project, but my sales area lay south of the historic right-of-way, marked, as I understood, by the utility power poles, and I anticipated my business would continue unimpeded. On August the 16th last year, a hand-delivered letter from John Adair warned me to remove all vehicles, encroaching structures, and cease trading by December the 24th, or the vehicles would be removed by the city at my expense. In that bombshell moment, I realized that when the road was conveyed to the city in 2008, the narrow strip of land described as utility segments, and backed up by that in Black's Dictionary, was interpreted by the city to be an all-encompassing 22.5 feet, which is the entire distance between my road, or the city road and the property line, the now city road, eliminating my car lot business and restricting access to my property. I was sure my long-standing grandfather rights to operate my business was senior to what the city is now claiming, and my business and property still lie within unincorporated Barry County. I am here today, I see my time's running out, to assure the city my intention is not to obstruct the city progress, but merely to ask for some flexibility in allowing adequate access to my property and recognise my grandfathered rights for
Yeah, if
compensation.
you can just wrap it up.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Okay. Further comment on consent and non-agenda business? Further public comment? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Whitman?
Yes, sir. I'll start with Mr. Killick. On March 13th, he served the city with a federal lawsuit. So on March 24th, our legal team, our assistant city attorney notified him that any kind of communication would go through our legal staff. So I've directed staff not to communicate with him, and I'd recommend the same, that we don't make any comments today until the lawsuit's settled. Speaker number one, we haven't decided on what we're going to do with the roundabout yet. That comes at the direction of the council, so I haven't moved anything forward with the water fountain. The only thing I'll refer to speaker number two is we did not kill his dog. He lives in the county. That would be the county's code enforcement and animal control. And thank you for the kind words from speaker number three.
Yep.
Kevin Kite.
Yeah, Mr. Gilbert, thank you for inviting our public safety officials to the luncheon at y'all's expense. It's very nice of you. And thank you for your continued support. For the fountain, you guys want to just do maybe just an RFQ for some artwork there?
That's what I was going to suggest, an RFQ to professional artists who can design something iconic that represents the history of Panama City Beach. I love the idea of a fountain. I love what people are doing with LED lightings, but I know there's some specific safety concerns with that unique location there. So I think an RFQ is a great idea. And also, like, take it a step further, that I will pursue funding in a budget via my seat from the TDC to be able to try to do something down there that's iconic, that visitors and residents both really appreciate and enjoy.
I know you don't want me designing it, so. Yeah, I'm not going to design it, so I support getting someone, an RFQ in place to get some ideas sent to us.
Yeah, and Ray, thank you for your passion here and bringing this up to the council. Is that absolutely something we should work on?
I'd just like to say, I hope it doesn't take us 4 or 5 years to complete this beautification project at the roundabout like it did the roadway. So I support doing this RFQ and getting something going on that. I think we got the cake built. We just got to put the icing on it. And I think the fountain idea is a great idea. Maybe with the RFQ, they come back with something else that represents Panama City Beach different, but I'm not an expert either. And like Vice Mayor Jarman says, I don't want to be the one designing it. I'm not a professional in that business, but I do think we need to do something more than just one single magnolia tree there.
So, would you like a motion on this?
I'd like some clarification.
What I would suggest is you direct us to prepare an RFQ. The one question I would have is, would you want the council to actually, in rare cases in which there's very public-facing projects, we've had you actually approve the bid docs themselves before they go out. So I would wonder, I guess my question is, do you want to actually approve those versus how we normally handle an RFQ, which is it's all on the staff side? But for this kind of project, making sure that you're collectively comfortable with the specs would be something that I would want to make sure that staff's not necessarily at odds with your direction. So direction to prepare that RFQ, and I want to give credit to Ms. White because she's already been researching different avenues for this and pulling different, this is fairly common across the country that roundabouts need something pretty. And so she's already been doing a lot of work on this, and so we're kind of prepared to go down that road if that's what you want. My one caveat being, do you want to collectively approve that RFQ before it goes out to the public?
Yeah, and I personally feel like it wouldn't hurt us looking at it. And would that be something that can be spun up by next meeting.
Go ahead.
Microphone.
So to Cole's point, I actually had Carrie did all the hard work. So I had Carrie pull some RFQs that some other cities have done. She found 4 already that are specific to public art in a roundabout. So very specific to what you guys are talking about. I think to Mr. Davis's point, it would be helpful to have you guys weigh in on those specs, because from what I read, and it was a cursory review of these 4, some of the primary focus is going to be, what do you want that to represent? What do you want that art in that roundabout to represent? Do you want it to be, past history of Panama City Beach? Do you want it to be Panama City Beach culture? Do you want some general idea of what you want that focus to be on? And then the other big thing, I think, is how much are you willing to spend for what you put there? Because that's going to drive somewhat what someone may bring back to you in concept, material-wise, scale-wise, is how much your budget's going to be for the art. So those were the kind of the 2 key takeaways I saw from the little bit that I have done so far.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's worth bringing it back to the council for discussion. And I believe the question was, given we've done the groundwork already, bring it back next meeting? Okay.
I believe, and this probably show in the RFQ, I think we already have a directional bore under there for water and power in that roundabout.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
right?
We do.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Good.
Are we just going to be asking for broad ideas here, or are we going to be asking for more of a specific design? I mean, are we saying we definitely want a fountain? Or are we saying, well, why don't you give us some ideas? And so which are,
I'm in the idea corner.
okay.
That's where I'm at. I think that we all need to,
I
again, I'm not a professional.
think so too. If they come back that the fountain's the best idea, I support it. But if they come back with something I like better than the fountain, I have the right to change my mind,
I just want to make sure that the staff understands that we're open to all ideas.
Well, council member, I think Ms. White's point was we need to come up with a general theme, or set of themes for the RFQ. And then the RFQ would go out, they would present different options to us, and then we could select among the options. So if it's, City of Fountains as an idea, if it's historic Panama City Beach, if it's, Real Fun Beach,
Well-
we need to come back with themes. They'll give us the structure of the RFQ, and then we also have to discuss, and we can discuss it then, funding.
Yeah, because from a historical standpoint, that is the entrance to this city.
Yeah.
Everybody that comes down 79, that's their first spot of the beach. Used to be. But yeah, we can discuss it when the RFQ comes up, but I'm more leaning towards the theme of a welcome to the world's most beautiful beaches type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so for our members on the TDC, since we will be talking about budget for the RFQ, is that something, there's a meeting between?
There's the next TDC meeting is April 14th.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff going on over there, but would you all be able to discuss?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Mark.
Okay.
And then our next meeting's the 9th, so that works out pretty well.
Okay. Great.
That's all I had.
Yeah, your clear direction. Okay, great. We now move on to the consent agenda. Ms. Fazzoni?
Resolution 2690, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of one 2026 Chevrolet Tahoe four-wheel drive truck for the fire department from Garber Chevrolet Buick GMC, Inc., and the total amount is $78,172.70, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the Florida Sheriff's Association agreement governing that purchase. Resolution 2691, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with White's Wrecker Service, LLC for city towing services. Resolution 2692, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of fuel pumps and associated hardware and software for all city departments from Spatco Energy Solutions, LLC, and the total amount of $89,890.24, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the Sourcewell Master Agreement governing that purchase. Resolution 2693, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with Environment Waste Services Group, Inc. for sewer cleaning and bypass pump services, and approving purchases under the agreement in an amount not to exceed $331,000 for fiscal year 2026. Resolution 2694, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of 4 lift station control panels for the Utilities Department from Control Panels, Inc., and the total amount of $71,312. Resolution 2695, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving a task order with McKim & Creed, Inc. to prepare an updated arc flash study at the city's wastewater treatment facility, and the total amount of $77,220. Resolution 2696, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving master services agreements with AMI Consulting Engineers, PA, Barge Design Solutions, Inc., Baskerville Donovan, Inc., David H. Melvin, Inc., George and Associates Consulting Engineers, Inc., Guatemala Engineering, Inc., Half Associates, Inc., Johnson Mirmiran and Thompson, Inc., JRA Architects, Inc., Pannoni Associates, Inc., Stoa International Florida, Inc., Volkert, Inc., and 4 citywide professional services as more particularly described in the body of the resolution. That's it.
Okay,
Motion to approve.
Second.
we have a motion to approve and a second. Ms. Vizzoni, please call roll.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tinnemer?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We now move on to the regular agenda, which is the first one, action by motion, appointment to the Police Pension Plan Board of Trustees. This, Mr. Davis, this is ministerial.
Yes, sir, this is a ministerial act that you just have to take care of.
Okay. Can you help us understand what's going on here?
I would defer to Ms. White about this. This
Ms.
is
White?
her world.
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
So the pension ordinance requires that the police pension board be, it's made up of 5 people, 2 of whom are members of the system, so police officers, 2 of whom are our council appointees, and the 5th member is appointed by the other 4. I have served as that 5th member for quite a number of years. After 20-plus years, we discovered that we have a dual office holding problem because I also sit on the general police board. So I have stepped down from the police board. The police board has appointed Webb Warren, the IT director who made the presentation earlier today, to be their 5th member, and the pension ordinance just requires that the city council ratify that action.
Okay. And since this is ministerial, there's no public comment on it.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept Mr. Warren.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tinnemer?
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to city manager report.
One item today, sir. I just want to remind everybody to keep Sergeant Kevin Kite's family in your thought and prayer, and also the fellow men and women that serve our community. Tomorrow marks the 21st anniversary that Kevin Kite was murdered on Front Beach Road on March 27th of 2005, right around 10:30 at night. I heard him yell that he was shot. He was shot twice on Front Beach Road at Richard Jackson, where there's a memorial for him. On the way to the hospital, he passed away. So just please keep him, his family, and the fellow law enforcement in our community in your thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Whitman. Mr. Davis, city attorney report.
Just one item today, Mr. Mayor. At a couple meetings ago, you guys had directed us to look at some additional regulations or an ordinance on e-bikes. We have obviously been working on that, but I wanted to alert you that the Florida legislature did pass a bill a few weeks ago, SB 382, that also regulates e-bikes. That bill has not been presented to the governor yet. When that happens, he has 15 days to sign it, veto it, or it automatically becomes law. We are working on an ordinance, but want to let you know that we are waiting to see how the governor treats that bill before we bring something back to you. But just wanted to get you an update on that.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Moving on to council comments. Vice Mayor?
I'd just like to thank our public safety, our police officers, fire department, our dispatchers. They've been doing a great job. I was able to spend a little bit of time last weekend with them, and they are very impressive in what they are able to do and how they handle every situation. So kudos to everyone on the force. That's all I have.
Okay.
Just like to echo Vice Mayor Jarman. I had the opportunity yesterday to go over to the police department and tour the command center that we have set up over there, getting ready for spring break, and I was super impressed with our police department and all the new high technology that this board helped fund, and I just pray for a safe and fun spring break for this community over the next 4 weeks for everybody. But I was very impressed with our police department yesterday, and preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. But they really, the technology is incredible with these flock cameras and everything that we're able to use today. I was super impressed with it. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilmember Colburn.
Yes, just after the last meeting, I was able to attend Leadership Day at Beach Elementary. And it was quite impressive to see the young leaders of tomorrow show off the skills that they're developing today. I don't think they ever taught goal setting when I was in school.
No. Yeah.
And of course, thank our first responders for all the work that they're going through right now. I will say things have been looking pretty good out there. I met a couple from Miami that came up to avoid their spring break.
That's good.
So the word's getting out.
Councilman Register.
Yeah, just echo those same sentiments, and then also our partnerships that we have with other agencies locally, and then highlight that some of this work that the TDC does, that Vice Mayor Jarman and I have approved some hotel rooms from the TDC to cover Florida Highway Patrol. I know you guys have seen the presence of those guys here in our community. I know I've definitely not been going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit with these guys. So they've done a tremendous job, and definitely want to highlight Chief Telementez and all his partnerships. I see sheriffs and cops from all other municipalities all over from Northwest Florida. So thank you for managing those relationships and them being here to support us. And I think word's getting out. I have a bunch of people sending me articles from Wall Street Journal and other places about how we've changed the tone. And we're looking to have a better, wholesome family destination. I think we're completing that. So I want to thank our legal team for helping create the HIP ordinance. I think it's working, and we'll continue to pursue and attack this as strong as we can.
Thank you, Councilman. Before I go into the thanks, I do have one item. As we prepare for budget, I'd like to work to moving our local nonprofit funding into a grant program with industry standard financial accounting and grant accountability to avoid surprising the nonprofits. I have been chatting with them to discuss their accounting practices. So just kind of tightening some things up, making sure we're accounting for all city money, even if it goes to a third party. And I'd like to have discussion to direct the staff to develop a grant program.
So you're looking at the money that we give nonprofits, through the grant program, your goal is to make sure, for us to oversee where they're spending that money?
Yeah, so a normal grant program would say, hey, do you have an accountant looking over, do you have an audited financial report to make sure the money is being spent appropriately? And then for particular grants, what are you using the money for, right? Okay. Is the money going into your general operating? Are you using it for particular purposes? How are we making sure that these city funds, public funds, are being used for the public?
Okay.
What's the total amount of funds that we allocate to that on an annual basis?
I don't know. Go ahead.
So currently, historically, over the last 25-plus years, we've always given the senior center and the Boys and Girls Club, in the ballpark. It's ranged from about $40,000 to about $65,000 per year. And then
Each or total?
Each.
Okay.
And then last year, we gave the estuary program, I think it was 20 grand. Of course, we've done Sea Life Public Art. We've done some funding for that in the past. So we've done some one-offs. But the two that historically we've done over and over again would be Senior Center and Boys and Girls Club.
Anchorage Children's Home, I think we gave them some.
We did that one time. We did money to the Gulf Coast Foundation Scholarship Program one year. So we've done some, one-time ones.
The spade and neuter program that we did, that wasn't a nonprofit,
So
how
that
did we handle that one?
those vouchers are actually given to the residents. The residents then take it to either a private vet who participates or to
So
Spay
something
Bay.
like that wouldn't be included, like the spade and neuter program that we gave?
So we register businesses,
So they're not.
yeah, but that's not what I was imagining, the spade and neuter,
Right.
because that's just a.
Just the other ones she mentioned besides
Yeah.
the spade, make sure that they are spending the money appropriately and having their own, submitting it for financial
Yeah.
audit.
Yeah.
So right now, we're contributing to pretty much, well, it depends if we continue the estuary, but let's say if we do, 3 entities?
Boys and Girls Club and Senior Center are the ones that over and over again.
Okay, so 2.
So what
You've
the
spoken to
library-
them, yeah, I know, so you've spoken to them, what are their accounting practices now? Because my concern is these are small entities to a certain extent, and then if we start putting all these accounting responsibilities on them, then, I mean, is our money just going to be going to an accountant?
So Boys and Girls Club normally files for grants.
Right.
So this should be straightforward to them. And then
It
this,
pretty much is, I sit on that board and we submit for a financial audit. I'm not sure how the senior center does, so maybe you know.
so I've talked to the senior center, and one of the reasons I was bringing this up is because I'm going to talk to the board about this, just to see to make sure that anything we do for them, or that may impact them, is something they could handle. So they, right now, are doing some internal accounting. And so I've looked at the way United Way of Northwest Florida handles their grants. And they kind of do a 2-tier thing. Organizations register, prove that they have reasonable accounting practices. It's tiered based on how much they receive. So if they're a small organization, they don't have to have a full audit. They have to just show reasonable accounting practices. If they receive more money, there's more accounting. And then they would just submit for what are they using these funds for. Historically, we've gotten, essentially a letter that says, in general, this is what we're spending the money on. If we're going to account for, okay, what are we spending this money on? Just basically fill out a form and ask for it when it comes to budget time.
So, well, if the Boys and Girls Club already has it, then we could just request it, couldn't we? Or do we have to have an ordinance that, we're dealing with 2 entities here. So.
And that's what I don't want to create more red tape and make it more burdensome, unless the idea is to create a larger fund and be able to
Yeah,
support
and
more,
I'm not-
I don't understand the idea of what we have works pretty well.
Well, so one is just good government best practices. We need to be able to account for the money we spend. And 2, developing a grant program allows it to be used for other things, but really, this is just focusing on good government best practices. Anyone who applies for grants anywhere else, like I said, United Way of Northwest Florida or elsewhere, they're going to fill out basically a financial accountability form, and they're going to say what they're going to use the money for.
Okay, so that's all we're asking for?
Yeah.
Is a financial accountability form and how they're spending the money?
Yeah.
So let's
Does
just do that.
Yeah, let's just do that.
I've often thought these groups should be coming before us at least annually and reporting
And letting
back
us
on
know.
their activities.
That's fine.
Yeah, and so it'd just be the report ahead of, they would just say, hey, this is, so those 2 things, that's a grant program.
So if they had a special need,
Well, you were talking about audits and all this stuff, so.
like the senior center a few years ago, we gave, I want to say like 10,000 for them to do a wood.
Oh, 5,000.
Yeah.
5,000.
Yeah, don't double it.
Unless you're willing to, and then they'll get another lathe.
Well, anyhow, and all we're asking for is for them to give us legal documentation of how they spent that money. if
Yeah,
that's
just
what we're
report on how they're spending it.
Yeah.
Or to
If
re-
they
to
spent it for
request-
what the intentions were. that
Or if
they
they have a
did.
special request, a request process,
Yeah, okay.
right?
Yeah, I mean, just, again, the way other cities or other nonprofits do is they register the organization, and there's accounting, there's financial reliability standards for that. And then they come up and ask, they don't just say, hey, we'd like some money. They say, we'd like some money because the AC, we'd spend $30K to replace the AC, or we're doing this program that's gonna serve residents.
Okay, so the two places that we do donate to now, then whenever we do allocate money towards them, it's gonna have to be to a specific thing?
I mean, unless you wanna say, I wanna fund their general fund.
Right. I
I mean,
mean, I'm
they-
okay,
they
I'm
could
okay
make
with asking them, to say, hey, we're giving you this money, how are you spending it? But I don't want to get too far in the weeds on,
But I want them to be able to, those entities to be versatile with the money.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have needs that come up, and we all know Boys and Girls Club, they may have different needs at different times of year, and that money may fund a specific project or a specific need for them and needs change. I mean, business is evolving. I don't want to pigeonhole somebody into a specific parameter. We know these are very good organizations and trustworthy organizations that we're giving money to in the first place. I don't want to create more red tape and more, difficulty for them to be able to get these funds.
I'm
And I
okay.
don't want them to have to go through an audit. I don't know necessarily either. I don't know. I mean,
I'm okay if we require, at budget season that they come up and explain how they used the money from the previous year.
I like that.
I mean, and that's not even, that's just something, is that something that we can just require? Or do we need to put that down on paper?
I could require that. When they send me the letter, I could require them to come do a presentation to you.
I mean, I am gonna push back on, if we're giving organizations money, we need to know they have reasonable financial accounting practices. If we're going to give organizations money for something, we need to know what they're gonna spend it on. If this board wants to choose to allow an organization to come up and say, we want general fund money that we can spend on anything else, they can do that.
That's what we just said we would have them do.
But for going forward for budget season, is my perspective that if an organization can't prove that they have reasonable accounting practices, or can't demonstrate they have reasonable accounting practices, and can't tell us what they're planning on using the money for, then, I mean, that's an issue.
So as a nonprofit, they're required to have reasonable accounting practices, are they not?
Of course they are.
Yeah. I just think we're,
Law? I mean, they have
to do filings.
Correct. Can I just clarify something real
Yeah.
quick? So, if you are going, so right now, the way that the appropriation to those nonprofits works is it's just a direct appropriation without any conditions, as far as I understand. Any conditions you want to place on that appropriation have to come through some sort of form. And so whether that, and we can call that a grant program, and what the strings of that grant program are entirely up to you, whether that's simply showing us your filing or providing us information about how you spent the money last year. Those details can be hammered out. What I want to point out is past practice has simply been to make an appropriation without condition. Any conditions that you want to add, you can, but I think we do have to tell them in advance and formulate that agreement somehow, those conditions, I guess, if that makes sense. And so I don't know exactly where you guys are on it, but
Yeah.
if you want anything more than a simple direct appropriation to these nonprofits, that has to be memorialized somehow. I don't know that we can say, okay, we are just verbally going to agree that we have to do this, we would have to memorialize that.
Okay. And see, my thing is personally, I don't want the city to get into the grant program other than what we have historically gotten into. I'm not looking to expand spending public money on additional programs. So with the two that we have, I mean, they can show us their filings. We can have them at the next budget cycle come in and talk about what, they'd spent the money on previous year. And this year, they can talk about how they want to spend the money if we so desire to give it to them this upcoming year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I just think it has to be classified that way.
We just have to
Council?
put the strings on it.
Yeah, you just decide the strings, we can figure out
Yeah.
the paperwork.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to support whatever strings you want to have attached to it. I don't know that I want to grow a grant program with public dollars either. I don't know if that's the goal. I do.
Well, the goal is just to get just to make sure we're being good stewards of public money. That
But I think we can accomplish that without a grant program.
whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
If they're going to register with the city and ask for money, typically that's called a grant program, but we can call it anything else. But if they're using public money, they need to be able to account for their own their accounting practices and demonstrate what the public money is being used for. And whether that's retrospective or prospective, that can be discussed, but we have to at least have something in place. Because right now, historically, it is literally just, they send a letter.
Right.
And then we do a direct appropriation, and if someone asks one of us up here, what do they spend the money on? It's like, oh, I hope they spend it well, right?
Right.
I trust them, right? Like,
That's why I was
this is
just
public
curious
money.
if
We
you
do
had heard anything about those two organizations that have prompted this to, I mean.
It's just good governance. There have been a lot of concerns recently about trust in government, and I've had a few residents reach out asking, okay, how is this money being spent? I want to make sure that we can demonstrate it.
Well, I think we put the string that they have to submit their filings and show the use of the money.
Okay, can we just take a step back and say we're okay figuring out a form for them to register and figuring out how they, we're just asking for the development of a couple forms, basically.
Well, I think what you were asking to a certain extent is what I just said, that they have to show their filings, that they've done due diligence in accounting.
Can my CPA say something?
Yeah.
May I? So when you speak to filings, I'm not sure, are we talking financial, internal financial documents? Audits are extremely expensive.
What they send to the state.
So they may not send anything, and they may not have to file any tax filings, depending upon the size of an organization. You may not meet the threshold to file a Form 990. So they may not have exactly what I think you're looking for, or maybe the terminology. I think what they probably do have are some internal financial statements, and then, I don't know how deep you guys want to go, but, present their internal financial statements, and then perhaps some descriptors.
Yeah, and that's why I was talking to them to say, okay, listen, we have to be, we want to strike a balance here. We want to be good with public money, but we also understand some of these are small volunteer run organizations. So what can you provide?
If we want to make sure that they're spending the money the way that's not negative towards us, then we just need to request how they spent the money. Show us where you spent that money. And we can do that prior to disbursement or authorization of any further funding prior to the budget cycle. So the string would be, please give us a detailed report of how you spent the previous year's funding.
So if we ask that for this year, I mean, this was my
You're right.
concern, this is why I'm talking to them.
sure.
If we ask that for this year, that may be a big burden because we hadn't asked that previously. That's why, as we come into this budget cycle, asking, okay, what financial practices do you have to account for the money for your organization? And then secondly, what are you gonna spend the money on? Because if we say demonstrate, if we ask an organization retrospectively to demonstrate what they've spent the money on, that's a big lift. If they just say, okay,
Shouldn't be, if they've got any form of accounting practices. Correct?
Correct.
Thank you. So, I mean, and if they can't, then that's a problem.
I think we're really, really close on coming up with a
Well,
resolution
yeah.
here. Let's nail this thing down. What's the simplest form to be able to get what we're looking for? Where's your acceptance at? Where do you lie on this issue? And
yeah,
how we can
so
come-
I was trying to talk high level.
Sure.
2 phases. 1, demonstrate that they have reasonable accounting practices. 2, what are you gonna use the money for? And how are you gonna demonstrate that you use the money for those purposes?
My concern is we create a grant program and we get a bunch of people upset. Why didn't I get the grant? Why didn't I get this? Why didn't?
I mean, they're already classified in the budget as grants.
Sure.
I mean, that's the terminology we use right now.
Contributions.
They contribute.
Well, I'm happy to support you on this so we can move forward. Let's give direction. And I'm happy to move forward. If it's a grant program, it's a grant program. Let's
A contribution program.
contribution program, whatever you want to call it, with a few strings attached.
What are
We're
the
gonna put it in
strings?
the-
That's the debate. What are the
Well, we
strings?
have a wonderful lady that's worked in finance her entire career, can probably give us what those strings are.
Well, and I think I'm sorry to interrupt, go.
Just, I would imagine you could probably come up with and bring us back some strings to be able to get the answers based off what you've heard today, in the simplest form, where we don't create a bunch of red tape for these organizations, and we don't make it overly burdensome on these organizations to be able to continue to get this money from the city. I know both of these organizations really well. They use the money and the funds appropriately. I'm 10,000% sure. So I understand if there's another organization we want to require that accountability. I understand the national landscape of fraud going on in the country. But let's try to nail this thing down here.
I mean, I will say, you could have a small organization that doesn't have formalized accounting practices that does everything okay.
Sure.
So I think, that's going to be the question for you guys, is how much do you want to drill down on formalizing their accounting process? I mean, they may have a trial balance, but they may not have any financial statements. They may not do double entry
And
accounting.
that was my concern of the whole thing, is I don't want to create red tape for these organizations that are doing good work in our community and supporting kids, public safety, seniors, all of our residents, and then we're making it more difficult for them to be able to get funds from the city because they can't, do all the things that we're looking for.
You may be able to accomplish what you're trying to do with more of an application process, where they fill out an application and give you some guidelines, here's our program, basically more of a program, approach. Here's the programs that we run, here's the amount of money that we spend on these programs. Maybe
Be like
that kind of approach might address what you're talking about without
Like-
necessarily the formalized accounting.
Yeah, I like that.
Like a tiered approach almost, based off your organization type, and
And I mean, if they have financial statements or they have a Form 990 tax return for a nonprofit, you could request that. But, I mean, it's
I would just hate to
probably not going to tell you
exclude
what you really want to know.
great
What you really want to know
organizations.
is what they're doing.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Because I don't see it really affecting Boys and Girls Club, right?
No.
But the senior center, I mean, if they, depending on what their setup is, here come, they're now having to spend for a full-fledged accounting firm to go through their whole books.
Yeah, so that's why I talked to them, I'm gonna talk to their board to just see what they're able to do in order to, the goal is to make sure that we're demonstrating to the public. We could say we trust these organizations, and we do, because we've been historically given money, but we need to demonstrate to the public that we're using their funds appropriately. And so, an application, development of an application.
I'm for that, I'm fine with that.
Application and a public presentation.
There you go.
Yeah. And I'd like to see a copy of the budget.
Of their budget,
of their budget.
if they have one.
That's the
Well, we
thing.
would hope that they would have a budget for their program, or at least a financial statement.
You'd be surprised at some smaller entities that don't have that.
My impression is they do.
They may tell you they do.
Well, I mean, as treasurer for several organizations, I know how important it is to keep all your information and make sure everything is
Yeah.
complete.
Well, you've spent a lot of time at the senior center, so I don't know if you know if they do or not, but.
I haven't gotten into the budget and the finances.
You know, and their budget's gonna change. I mean, what they spend it on is gonna change. One year it may be AC units, next year it may be remodel of the bathroom, next year it may be roof. But it's, you know, it's not fraud, it's given to them in good faith.
Versatility.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was about to say. They might not know exactly what something might happen that, oh, well, here we go, we gotta spend it on this.
Yeah.
As an emergency, but.
Yeah, no, I think that they keep good records.
And that's all we're asking.
Yeah.
basically, how they're
Application?
Spending the money.
We want them to be good stewards of the public's money.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
okay, so application, including budget? Okay,
What was the
And
direction?
presentation.
and presentation.
And presentation.
I'm
Yeah.
all- I'm-
Yeah, because, and especially with the presentation, I want to be able to
Yeah.
celebrate these programs.
Right.
No, I'm all for that.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's important for the public to see how it's spent.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great thing. and It's
Yep.
a good community thing. I think you got a great idea. I think we just had a lot of
When do we want? them-
collaboration here.
When would we
Keep it
want them
simple.
to do the presentation right before we, do the budget process, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, if, you know, as we're probably previous to the budget workshop,
Right. Okay.
Or at the budget work.
or, yeah, if, well, they can send us something ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then if they want to, and then they should come up
And
and
they,
present.
they should
Yeah,
come up,
talk.
some representatives should come up and
Yeah.
give us a short presentation on what they're spending the money.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
okay.
Real quickly, is the direction that we develop this framework and then bring it back to you for approval?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. All right, now moving on to the thanks. And, well, good discussion here.
Sausage.
Yep, love it. Sincerely, thanks the PD, Public Safety. I also wanted to thank some particular organizations that have been providing food or agreed to provide food to the public safety workers. I know Church of the Beach has been providing food. The Knights of St. Bernadette's has also provided food, the Father's House, and Gulf Coast United Methodist Church, so I want to thank them for their collaboration. Want to echo the request for prayers for Sergeant Kite's family, and also continue asking, I wanted to thank the Pastors United group for having a prayer service for safety for public officials, residents, and visitors as well this Sunday, and ask for continued prayer for wisdom, safety, and peace during these 2 spring break high impact weeks. With that, I will see everyone 5 p.m. April 9th on Thursday. Okay.